And I'm glad to see that the two major parties are dying on their feet, because they are a uni-party that do not offer us alternatives to the problems that they have created. But I also observe, and you should observe, that this country is drifting into two extremes that are mutually contradictory and in opposition. On the one side, we are moving into a further right of spectrum that is Thatcherite all the way to alt-right, and on the left we have a wokerati allying themselves with Islamists on the other side. These extremes will not cohere, they will not coexist, and this is why democracy is important, as you will see. On a one-to-one basis, I do not accuse him of anti-Semitism. He'll meet a Jew today and he'll be as friendly to that Jew as he will be to me. But, ladies and gentlemen, his politics is anti-Semitic, and here's why his politics is anti-Semitic. Because when, ladies and gentlemen, thousands of Christians are butchered in Nigeria, he has nothing to say. When, ladies and gentlemen, hundreds of thousands of Christians are driven out of Artsakh, Azerbaijan, he has nothing to say. When, ladies and gentlemen, Egyptian Christians suffer anti-Christian pogroms, he has nothing to say. The only time that his passions are ever tickled so that he wants to talk about it is when Israel is involved. And what is distinctive about Israel? It is the only Jewish state in the world. That's why his politics suffers from an anti-Semitic narrative. He doesn't care about justice. All he cares about is villainizing the one Jewish state in the world. Let's be clear. This is the danger of the alt-left. They don't see facts square on. They don't weigh evidence square on. They filter evidence according to their liberal prejudices, ladies and gentlemen. You heard him with his own lips try to blame Nigerian Christians for their own slaughter. How much more evidence do you need about the evils that arise from Marxism? And notice, he could not and would not and did not engage with the evidence from Islamic sources that showed the religious motivation behind 1400 years of jihad. Let me just quote to you, ladies and gentlemen, a commentary given by a Muslim scholar on Surah 9, Ayah 29, in which he says, and his name is Ibn Juzai, he says the following: the verse is a command to fight the people of the book because they claim Allah has a son. Does that sound like a religious reason for the war? Yes, it does. That, ladies and gentlemen, is something that all the liberal do-gooders and all the liberal progressives and all the alt-left refuse to wrestle with, because it does not suit their anti-Christian bias. And the fact of the matter is, for all you ignoramuses on the left, Christians have been subject to jihad, violent jihad, for 1400 years without missing a year. Not one in 1,400. Are you telling me that as Christians we shouldn't oppose Islam. That's like saying to a Jew they shouldn't oppose Nazism, ladies and gentlemen.
So Christians
The reality
is
Jews. The reality
Christians
is
oppose Jews.
the reality is Muslim converts like this
Should Christians
and Marxists like that
on the same
are
basis
united
that you set out
in
for
their ignorance
Christians
and in their hatred of Christians and Jews, ladies and gentlemen.